morning. So this is the demonstration for CS498, Internet of Things Lab number 2. And so what we're going to demonstrate here is both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi used to communicate with the PyCar via a standard application interface, as well as through a web interface created with Electron. So what we're showing here is the connectivity to a Bluetooth using Bluetooth. I've created a GUI here that will connect up to which will connect to the server that's running on the PyCar. So this is the server here running, and as you can see, it's serving up updates, and that's running on the car. This is running on a VM running Ubuntu Linux. You can see that we are getting updates. Let's see if we can see there's an update there with the temperature, CPU, and volts. And we can also use this interface as a way to control the car. So if I hit forward, move down here, and you can see the car move forward. I have it set up so it only goes about 100 centimeters, so I don't have to chase it everywhere. And backwards, left, and right. All right, so that's what we have done here. So this just to prove, you can see that it's running over Bluetooth here with the icon, but just to prove that we are running over Bluetooth, we'll turn off Bluetooth on my device just for those skeptical folks in the audience. And you can see my server now has lost connectivity. It's waiting for a new client. And if you look over here, we see no updates, nor do the commands at all work. Okay, so that's the Bluetooth side of things. So what we're going to do here is come over, and we're going to stop the servers. And we're going to come over and go to the applications. And so I've designed the applications to be able to run both either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. I didn't have time to make them work in midstream, but that could be an enhancement. And so what we're going to do is right now it's Bluetooth true. We'll change that to false. Forgive the dual role of cameraman and commentator. And over here, we will, again, on the server, do the same thing. Here's the server. And so if we can come in here, maybe we can just get this to change. Okay, so that's false. So it's going to use the Wi-Fi. So I need to save this and save this. Make sure I have it saved. And so now we will rerun the server. And it's waiting for, you can see it's waiting for a client, and we will bring up the client here on this side, and there's the client. It's made connection over Wi-Fi to the server running on the PyCar. We're looking at that over a VNC connection, and here we go. Here's the same interface. This time we have the Wi-Fi icon up there. You can see that the data should be updating. I think it just updated there, updated again, and we can control the car. So if I hit forward, you can hear the car, you can see the car, we can make it go backwards. Oops, there it is, left and right. Okay, so that's description of that piece of it. So now we're going to come over and run this again over Wi-Fi, and what we're going to do is run the electronic interface. So let's see, we don't do it. Yep. Okay, so we're starting it up, and here's the interface, the familiar interface. So in most cases, I built my own stuff, so we'll start up. I just have a start button here. I should have just, but you can see now. Okay, so it's updating. So you can see that the web interface is receiving updates from the server, and we can use the command. So here, I'll click on that, and you can see the call goes forward, backwards, right, and left. So there you go. That's the demo. Just as far as the code goes, you can see that we're looking right here at the server software. You can see the Bluetooth function here that tells you what your which connection you're using. So we have the usual thing. Measure temp just grabs the data off of the PyCar. So temp, CPU, and volts. And then we have an exec command. So this is the command it's sent. So if we send it an F, it's going to go forward. An L, it's going to go left. And so those are the commands that are executed by the application. The control server is basically runs as a thread, a separate thread. It basically listens for commands coming from the client and then executes them using that. So this can run either over Bluetooth or over Wi-Fi, depending on what you're doing. You get the commands and you go. One other just common point here is that I'm running two sockets here. One is for the commands and the other is for the status. It was just I put that together for debug purposes, and there's no reason to change it because sockets are kind of free at this point in this lab. The status server actually collects the status, and it connects either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi depending on the configuration. And so it will go out and make the connection, and then it goes and calls data, measure temp, which is up above, which gets the latest data. It then sends it out, and then it sleeps for 2 seconds and does it again and continually updates. And you can see how the updates come out on the server itself. It's still running up there, if you can see it, and it's continuing to do that. And then the main program, which consists of starting up the basically starting up the threads that we're going to run, and then finally closing everything. On the client side, similar type thing. We have a Bluetooth variable, tells me how I'm going to communicate. We have the stream status, which is basically a thread that runs. It goes out, it connects via Bluetooth to a socket, and then it looks for data. It receives the data and then takes the data and puts it into the variables that then are sent to the UI update, which updates the information sent to the UI. So this is these are the displays. UI update is called to make that update, and there you can see that the variables are there. Send command is basically called when from the GUI when you want to send a command, and so when you click on one of those arrows, you get a command. And then finally, on the other side, we're running in the main program, we're going to run the GUI. And so in this case, the GUI is connecting. We'll just connect that up via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. And so there's the connection being made. And then the GUI interface here that allows you to see all the labels, etc. On the other side, we have the web application, the web front end. This consists of mainly the index HTML and index JavaScript. You can see that this is the web interface that goes out. It has some of the old stuff in it. I did a lot of changes here, but you can see that I added a call to command server when you click on the buttons, and the command server gets an R, F, L, or B to cause it to go forward, backwards, or not. And then we have the class. This is the status update portion of the GUI, and you can see those are called So when we hit the start button, it starts the update, and the updates are sent over and displayed on the interface. And then finally, the JavaScript to support that. So we have, again, what I've done is used the same server that I used for the first part. We're communicating to it. It's basically setting up a client. The client is the side that goes out and receives the updates for status. And so that updates that information. It gets the information. So you call that. Update data is what's called from the loop that's in the program. The loop down below here, loops. Where is it? Here it is. It loops it up to update the data on the screen every 2 seconds. And so this is the code that runs that thread there that runs that. Then I have a second thread here that's running, which is a connection, which is also a connection. So I have a separate connection for sending commands, and there's a server command there. So we get the command in, and then we execute it and run it on the, send it to the PyCar. And then also we have ways of handling keyboard entries here also. And so that is a quick overview. I've included source code as well as write up on the information here, and hopefully that gets it across. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thanks.